Hello, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I'd like to talk about the topic of that there's no work to be done after we have imagined. So this topic, there's a lot of variations of information on this topic, but it's very easily proven when you test it yourself. So the concept really is, when I imagine, do I have to do anything after that in order for my manifestation to unfold? Now, a lot of people say that yes, you do. You have to raise your vibration. You have to consistently and continuously imagine every single day. You have to act out as if you already received the thing on a regular basis, continually. And there's, like I said, there's a ton of information out there as far as what to do. But what I'm going to say is that if you successfully imagine the thing that you want, if you have impressed it successfully in the subconscious mind, then there's nothing technically that you have to do. You will automatically move there and receive the thing that you have imagined, or you will become the person that you have imagined yourself as. Now, that's not to say that you will close your eyes and imagine something and then sit at home and do absolutely nothing and force yourself to do nothing and then it will come to your door. Although that is very possible, I'm more or less going to explain how you will be moved automatically in order to get the thing that you want. So the subconscious mind is the thing that moves you automatically. You're not thinking consciously of what the subconscious mind has in store for you. That's why it's subconscious. You aren't aware of the things that are in your subconscious. But this is how you are used and moved to manifest what you want. So, and I'll give you an example. I was listening to Neville recently, and he talks about Abdullah, who was his teacher. And Abdullah was a great man who really applied the law, which is what I teach here, how to manifest. He applied this probably as some of the best in the world. And he rearranged the structure of his mind, changed his beliefs to the point where he was always treated as if he was a very important person, and he always got anything that he wanted to get. So as I was listening to that, I imagined to myself that I would be treated as a very important person at a party. So because I was taking what Neville said and it just gave me an idea, and I said, okay, whatever, this is what I want to imagine. So, and this is kind of how I do it, right? I don't always imagine things that I necessarily need, but I'm always imagining different things, novel solutions to ideas, so that I can constantly see manifestations happen every single day and to constantly build my faith. So it was almost a fleeting thought, and I was just simply imagining that I would be a very important person. I imagined talking to a friend about how that's what I was treated at a party. So it just so happened that later that day I had a party that I had to go to. I was invited previously. In my mind, I did not think that this would be the party that this would be, because it was just a small dinner party. And so I went to this party, and halfway through the dinner party, someone had asked the question of, what do you do, Joe? Like, what is it that you do, right? Because there were people there that I had never met before. And one of my friends says, oh, he teaches people how to manifest on YouTube. And she started asking a few more questions about it. She was interested. And then at the end of that little conversation, she said, hey, Joe, I'm going to be having a party at my house in a couple of weeks. And I'm wondering if you would be the special guest at our party. So it was exactly as I imagined, that I would be treated as a VIP. That's how I put it in my mind. At a party, and then not even a couple hours later, at a party, which I don't think has a connection, but at that party, someone asked me if I would consider being a special guest at their party and talk. So the reason I bring this up when it comes to the fact that we are automatically moved to receive our manifestations is that my subconscious had put me in a place where this topic would come up and that my manifestation would unfold. And then in that same likeness, the individual who asked me, she was put in the place to ask me this question. So there was nothing specifically that I had to do. I had no idea that this was going to unfold, but nevertheless, it did. And this happens with all sorts of things all the time. If you notice, when your manifestations come to pass, it's generally when you're not thinking about them. That's because your subconscious mind is active, bringing you subconsciously towards the place and time where you will receive the thing that you have imagined. And the same goes for anyone else who is going to give you the thing that you've imagined. So in order to bring about the things that you want, truly, the only requirement is to imagine the thing that you want in first person point of view. There's so many other examples, and I mentioned this one in a previous video, but I was joking with my sister about the perfect place for me to live. At the time, I was working all the time, and so I was thinking of a place where I could be kind of left alone, and a place that would be suitable for my needs to work. And we had drawn a picture out on on a notepad, and we were joking about it. This was like 2013, so like 6 years ago. And I had never thought of it again. But nevertheless, the years had gone by, and I moved to California, and I moved 2 times after I had come to California. And then, and my sister came and visited me from New Jersey, and when she was here, she was like, "Oh my God, this was what you drew. This is what you drew." And again, there was nothing in between, and there's no telling when and how a manifestation will come to pass, but it's certain that if we impress it sufficiently on our subconscious mind, a bridge of incidents will unfold that will lead us to the end. And so the reason I bring this topic up as well is because a lot of my clients, they ask like, what should I do in the middle after I imagine? So here's the thing, and I've had thousands of experiences to prove this, and I have tried doing things in the middle, like imagining different things. What happens when we start imagining things in the middle is we end up creating things in the middle. So instead of there being a streamlined process from A to B, right? So I'm here now. If I imagine the end, that's B. So my higher self, which I choose to call God, will find the most direct path from A to B. So if that's the case, which I've proven it to be true, and I would like it if you tested this yourself, is that when I am starting to try to figure out how it's going to happen, and I'm starting to kind of come up with ideas and what I need to do, or what are some things I can do to speed up and facilitate this process, there's a very good chance that I am just creating obstacles in the way. Because when we imagine something in the middle, if there's A and B, if I start imagining different things, then I then have to encounter those things to get to the end. So again, please test this theory, right? Don't take my word for it. What I would like it if you could do is try to start just imagining things, do them consistently, imagine the end, and then don't touch anything. This is also evident if you've been doing your lists every day, making a list of 5, 10, 15, 20 different things, and then forgetting about it. You'll realize that you did not have to do anything in the middle in order to get it. And that's just the way that this is set up. The perfect way to get what we want is to imagine the end and then nothing in the middle. And for me, myself, I have tried many different things. I've tried imagining things in the middle. I've tried, everything, right? This is why I talk about all these different types of things, because it's important to test them, right? So test each and every one of these different things. Test if you have manifesting the end pieces in the middle, and then try just imagining the end, and then like all these different things. The whole point why I try to go over these things with you is that it's very important to prove to yourself what works and what doesn't. So try imagining the end, try doing nothing, and watch what happens. You will automatically be moved to experience the things that you imagined. This is called the bridge of incidents. So if you've imagined an end point, everything in the middle will lead you to that end point. But to imagine, what you've got to do is construct a scene which implies that it's done already. So if it was that I wanted to be at that VIP party, then be at VIP at the party, then I would imagine already being there or after the party and explaining to someone how I became that, right? How I did that. And that way, when you receive signs, you know that it is directly related to that end result and nothing that I've planted in the middle, right? Because each scene is a seed of its own. So, and then it will ripen and flower and bring you to that very end result. But if you imagine things in the middle, you're not going to be quite sure if when you see a sign, if it's related to something that you've imagined in the middle or something in the end. So this is, please test this and just test this. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you like this, please scroll down, hit the subscribe button, like it, click the bell icon, go to the website sovereignmind.com for more information like this, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.